It's the A to Z podcast. I'm Anthony Zanni. I'm here with Elijah Oliver. He's the wrestling coach for the Maryland Terps. How are you, buddy?
Good. I'm good. How about yourself?
Good, man. Thanks for being on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for
I,
having me.
I wanted to start with how did you become a coach for Maryland? And B, what advice do you have for kids in high school looking to get recruited to go to such a big school like Maryland?
Okay, so I actually got a long story about how I actually got
Maybe
into
give it
the
to me.
path of coaching. So for people who don't know me, I graduated from Indiana University. I was there for 4 years. 4 years started, wrestled 125. And after graduating from Indiana, I thought that I was kind of burned out from wrestling. I didn't really want to have much to do with wrestling. So my dad had actually helped me get a job on the railroad with him. Is a company called Norfolk Southern, and I was there for it only took about 6 months until I really kind of hated it because it really didn't have anything it wasn't really like purposeful for my life at that moment. And I'm a Christian, and I believe in God, and during that time I had to kind of reset and figure out what it was that I really was meant to do in my life, right? What was something that would bring me joy, and what was something that would bring meaning and purpose in my life. And then pretty much after leaving Norfolk Southern, so that was around like February-ish. Yeah, like early February. Then that's when COVID hit. This was in the year 2020. And another 6 months went by. Actually was working for my parents, and I was working with my uncle in Illinois, with my uncle up in Illinois. We were actually renovating a condo, right? Because I wasn't working, and everything was pretty much shut down at that time. And we were renovating a condo, finished that up in like 6 months. And so finally I go back down to Alabama. That's where my parents were at. That's where I was at after coming from Indiana, and I was working in Norfolk Southern in Alabama. And pretty much, yeah, in December 3rd, my younger brother, he actually, so I always, ever since he was like in high school coming up and I was in college, I would always go back home and I would like wrestle with him and coach him. And I really found a lot of joy doing that. I really liked it a lot. Like, it was like, man, dang, this is sweet. Like, I'm helping somebody that I truly, truly care about and love.
Absolutely.
And I can see the progress. I can see the potential. I can see that, like, dang, this dude he can actually be really, really good. We can just continue to stay on this path of just helping him and helping him progress in his skill set,
Yeah.
and even mental and physical, right? As we know, as athletes and as coaches. So I go back down to Alabama, and it's this club called Birmingham Wrestling Complex. At the time, James Nicholson, he was a two-time All-American from Old Dominion. He was the head coach there at the time. And when I got there, I was helping coach my younger brother. I'm like, well, heck, like, I don't got any work, so this is my work. And I'm like, I'm not too upset with it. I actually like doing this a lot,
Yeah.
right? And James Nicholson came to me and was like, hey, I'm actually trying to turn this thing over to somebody that that I trust, and somebody that obviously is qualified and has the credentials, to coach. And he was like, would you be interested? And at first I was like, I really don't want to coach I don't want to coach other kids. I want to just coach my brother. I love coaching my brother.
Right.
And then I kind of thought about it, right? Prayed on it, obviously, and talked to my parents, and they was like, yeah, you should do it. Like, you don't got a job right now. You should do it. That'd be something, if you don't like it, then find something else. And so pretty much accepted the job right then and there. And was coaching there for like another like 6 months, right? And the crazy thing was, like, I was really, really enjoying it. The club was doing really, really well. And then while I was coaching my brother, he actually was coaching with me at the same time. Like, I was the head coach, he was like my assistant, right? And it was just perfect. And then a couple of his friends, actually a guy named Brandon Seawright, uh, he was like coming back and forth from school. He goes to Limestone University down in North Carolina. He was coming back and forth from school, so he was helping us coach too while he was training and stuff. So I was like coaching him, and he was coaching with me, and it was really cool. And I'm like, dang, dude, this is actually really sweet, you know. And yeah, literally in May, it was May 7th, May 8th was when Coach Alex Clemson, who's the head coach here at Maryland, he had actually gave me a call. And the crazy thing was, I don't know. I know that he told me the guy, his name is Mike, that who was actually real big in the FCA, right? Fellowship of Christian Athletes, uh heavily affiliated with them. And Coach Clemson had reached out to him and was seeking, a coach, right? And obviously a coach who, had got good quality and morals and, has a clean name. And he said, I think I know a guy. And then he gave him my name and he reached out to me. It was crazy because it was like during the day, like me and my younger brother, I'll never forget. We actually had just came back from this place called TCBY, the country's best yogurt, and down in in Alabama. He called me and he was like, "Hey, I'm looking for, a lightweight coach, or the title would be volunteer assistant." And he was like, "Would you be interested in taking it?" And at the time, I'm like excited, like crazy excited, like, oh man, heck yeah, dude. Like, what? I'll be coaching Division I Big Ten. I just got finished wrestling Division I Big Ten. Now I'll be coaching, like, oh man, this is perfect. And I'm like, and I really love coaching. Like coaching doesn't even feel like a job
Right.
to me. Like it's just like, I go in, go coach, go wrestle with the guys. It's like another day in life. It doesn't really feel like work in a sense. And so yeah, I accepted the job and here I am now going on my third, yeah, this is my third year, just finished, about to be finishing up my third year here at Maryland. And yeah, I'm the assistant coach now, and it's been it's been great. It's been really great. Yeah. So
Congratulations, man. That's an amazing story to get to where you are. And trust me, I get it. When you're passionate about something and when you're coaching kids, it's the greatest thing in the world. It really is.
it is. It is. I agree. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's very, very purposeful, very meaningful.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than competing for yourself, that's for sure. Because
I agree with that as well.
it's a good thing, man. It's a good thing.
So Maryland is a huge school. Huge school. It's an amazing.
125 pounders or 133 or 157 pounders. Um, it's I would say because I would say at this point too, I'm pretty like diverse in the weight classes that I've worked with. I've worked with guys from the lightest weight to the heaviest weight, which in college is 125 to heavyweight. In
Right.
high school is 106 to heavyweight. In middle school is 66 pounds to like heavyweight, which heavyweight in middle school and high school is obviously two totally different weights. I think heavyweight in middle school is maybe like 177, I think, or maybe 180 something. So I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm like, oh, I only want to work with, this
Mhm.
guy. It's more about, like who I connect with best. Because I've had some really good connections with some guys that are in the upper weights, in the heavier weights, that's a lot bigger than myself, that, that I probably couldn't wrestle with because the size advantage, right? And obviously it's a reason why it's weight classes in wrestling, but it's just the connection, right? Like they understand me, I understand them, boom. I can spend time with them, and I probably should spend time with them, because I might be that coach that they need in that moment, you know.
Is there different coaching methods if you're coaching a lightweight versus a heavyweight?
Um, yes and no. Yes and no. I think the goal and the goal and the agenda, right, is all the same, right? Score points, uh obviously outscore your opponent, however that may be, whether it's you beat them by a decision, major decision, technical fall, pin, whatever, outscore your opponents and keep winning positions, right? Keep winning technical positions. Which, for people that wrestle, they really know what I'm talking about. Um, However, it's a little different though with weight classes. Usually 125, 133, kind of 141. You're gonna have the guy that's a little more little more fast twitch, a little more they move around a lot more. It's a lot more action that takes place. There's a lot more rolling around, a lot more scrambles, a lot more flurries that happen in the lighter weights, as opposed to, even one from like 149 to like 165/174, right? Whereas those guys are a little more like physical, right? Like a much stronger, obviously, because they're in a higher weight class. But I would say you look at a 125, 133 pounder, as opposed to like their intensity and their pace in the match, as opposed to a 165, 174, even as high as heavyweight and 197. It's a difference. It is a difference, right? The heavier weights, they don't move as much. They don't move their hands and their feet as much. They still move their hands and their feet, but it's not, the pace isn't the same, right? And obviously those guys are bigger, bigger muscles, require a little more oxygen, and so they kind of reserve a little more, right? They don't have the capacity to go as hard as, a lighter weight guy, or to wrestle as hard, or at a higher pace and high intensity rate as a lighter weight guy, because they're bigger. They got more load to move. So yeah, I'll say the agenda, the perspective, the goal is the same, right? Score points, dominate your opponent, win positions, finish out on top. That's, I mean, like the goal is the same. And one of the things that we go by in Maryland is expect to win. We got it written on our wall. That's like our biggest thing. We have the guys touch it every day before they leave. Expect to win. And that's from 125 to 285, which is heavyweight. We want our guys to have that ingrained in their mind that, yeah, no matter who you wrestle, no matter what weight you're wrestling, the goal is the same, right? And the expectation is the same.
Do you have anybody that you think is on the team currently that will be a D1 champion?
Yes.
Champion. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got a few guys. Got a few guys that before it's all said and done, yeah, I definitely think they'll be a national champ for sure.
Where is
Oh, yeah.
Maryland ranked right now? I think they were 21st last year.
We were 21 last year. We're around that mark right now. We might have fell out because we had lost a close one to Indiana. I know we were 21-20 before we dropped a close one to them, but we wrestled Michigan State this weekend, who is another team who's a top 25 team currently right now, that feel like we should do really, really well against,
Yeah.
and hopefully come out victorious. But yeah, I would say we've been on the slight incline, constantly growing, constantly building, constantly, developing. We are in a big, development stage. I would say we definitely aren't at ground zero anymore. I mean, we got 4 returning NCAA qualifiers on the team currently who were all freshmen last year. So, and then we got another our captain at 174, who's a junior, a true junior, is a return national qualifier from a year ago. So not last year, but the year before. We got a good transfer heavyweight from Penn State that, is starting to get back into his groove and starting to find his rhythm again. And I think that he'll do really well for us as well too.
Do you guys have any goals? What's the goals for this season?
Keep growing, keep developing, keep building, keep building. Yes, definitely keep building. And no matter what, right, to just constantly keep increasing, right? Don't get too down on ourselves. Obviously, if things don't go the way that we plan, but the goal is just to keep progressing, right? And not to take our foot off the gas and start degressing or
Right.
declining,
Yeah.
but to just keep inclining, and eventually we'll get to where we need to be. We definitely we getting closer and closer, definitely a lot closer this year than we were the year before. I mean, we got our 197 pounder, Jackson Smith is, ranked 3rd in the country right now, 4th in the country, doing really well. That's a guy that, should probably definitely break through. And then our 133, 141, 149. Hopefully our captain at 174, can punch through and and make the podium this year as well. And these are guys realistically that's like, yeah, they more likely should. Yeah, this should be the year that they should definitely, find a place on that podium, which is something that, ever since I've been here at Maryland, which this is my third year, and with Coach Clemson, he's been here for 6 years, along uh with the other guys on the staff, Nick Bracetta, Devin Mellon, and then Ethan Laird. He just came in this previous year. They never had an All-American yet, so this will be the first year. Hopefully, we can go ahead and make that happen.
This can be a huge year then if that happens. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It was very close to happening last year, but the chips didn't necessarily fall or align the way that we hoped. But hey, we back at it again this year, and hopefully things do go the way that we expect and we plan for them to go.
So Elijah, I wanted to go back to the high school kids. What could we do to get them to be seen a little bit better? How could we get them to really get eyes on them from every program? Like, how did it happen for you?
Okay, so for me, I would say, and this is just obviously one perspective, right? Like, I was a two-sport athlete. Baseball and wrestling was my main two sports. I mean, let my parents tell it. They definitely had higher goals and hopes for me through baseball. They thought that I was a much better baseball player than I was a wrestler. But I kind of had to be a little more realistic. I'm not that big of a guy, and my dad actually had a good, like, a very mature conversation with me about uh picking a realistic career path, right? In terms of, what would allow me to, get school paid for at the next level, which was in college. And yeah, which one do I think I could do it in? And I told him, well, probably wrestling, because it's just me and another guy. And, if I don't beat this guy, then I'm not, I'm not going to get the looks that I need to get. So that was a big motivation for me. Okay, if I can stay consistent with my training, my preparation, and take everything uh as far as just the development, right, and preparation seriously, right, and not just kind of go through the motions with it, but be very, very intentional about everything that I did, in terms of training, in terms of even my dieting and recovery. That I think I put myself in a pretty good position. So my sophomore year was when I had made the switch of wrestling full time. And from there, obviously training in the summer. And a lot of kids now, right, the stakes are even higher, where kids have access to RTC rooms, throughout the summer, throughout the winter, throughout the spring, throughout the fall. So they get the opportunity to train with Division I guys, a little more often than it was for me when I was in high school. But I was fully committed to really getting as good as I possibly could at the sport of wrestling in that specific time period of my life. So yeah, I was pretty much training almost every day in the summer except for Sundays. Sundays and maybe another day during the week. It might have been Wednesday or something like that. But constantly just on and on and on and on training, really focusing on, nitpicking, different positions that, I was struggling in and I knew that I needed to get better in, was watching some of the better guys in my weight, and going to obviously the bigger tournaments, you know, um, like Fargo, Super 32, preseason nationals, folk style nationals, uh, world team trials. So that's like, it was, yeah, the U16s and U20s. I went to U16s. It was called Fila Cadets back then. I went there, and that's a big tournament. And these are tournaments, like, obviously you place in these tournaments, you're All American, you're gonna get a look for
Yeah.
sure. And if you win, then it's like, okay, now, now it's a little deeper, because it's like, wow, this dude's a champ. He knows how to win, under the lights on the big stage against a high quality opponent, and all eyes is on him. He knows how to still maintain his focus and still be able to focus on the job at hand and the task at hand and get it done while all these other things are going on around him. That's pretty impressive to do, right? Like, especially now. And like I was telling you before, you got kids in high school now beating Division I college guys that are ranked #1 in the country. That are returning NCAA finalists and All Americans and even national champs. Right, guys in high school doing that to guys in college. So obviously, the stakes have definitely risen, like I said earlier. Um, so as a high school kid, right, who's really trying to get looks in college, I would say the biggest thing is commitment. That's number one. Definitely have faith, in the process that you're going through or whatever, whether it's your coach, dad, mom, uh, older brother, whoever, is coaching you at that time. Have faith in whatever they're telling you, whatever you're doing, full-heartedly believe it, right? And go out and really just, and trust, whatever they're telling you, whatever they're giving you, is gonna work, and hit it to the best of your ability, best of your ability. And continue to do it. Stay consistent with it. Don't yeah, don't lose focus. Don't lose focus of the task at hand. If you want to be a Division I Big Ten wrestler, if you want to be a Division I wrestler, whether it's the ACC, Big 12, uh, Pac-12, EIWA, SoCon, MAC, whatever, right? Really, really stay honed in on that goal and continue to work and work and work and work and work and train and prepare yourself. So when the time comes and opportunity comes for you to go to a big tournament like Fargo Super 32, Folk Style National, Folk Style National, preseason nationals, U20, U20s, U23s, U17s, whatever, right? When those opportunities come, because most of the time kids that are there, especially the kids that you see in the championship rounds, the kids you see in the finals, semifinals, quarterfinals, usually pretty high quality kids. It's probably ranked in the country, right? And that's another thing too. If you're ranked in the country, more than likely, you're gonna be getting recruited because your name is right there. It's
Yeah.
like college coaches looking up and down the list. Oh, dang,
Yeah.
kid 17. Oh, dang, dude 7th. Ah, dang, the kid is #1 in the country. Huh. We should probably reach out to this kid because
Yeah.
he has something, within him that is driving him, and we would like to, add that to our program, because this is a guy that is probably a good leader too, like usually guys that do a whole lot of winning, and are pretty successful, whatever they do, people look up to them, whether they're a good leader or not. It's attractive, right? People that win, people that do good, people that have high success, people want to know why they're so successful, right? So it's like us as college coaches, we see that, it's the guy that, if we can bring him to our program or get him to come to our program, he can lead, he can be another leader we can add, to the team that can help bring the team up and help, like bring the team stock up, to now, we got the guys, we're 20th in the country. Now we add this guy that's, top 10 in the country coming out of high school, to our team. Now we're 15th in the country because we add him in at another spot, or he's at a weight to where he can help the guy that's starting while he's registrating, help him keep getting better. And it's just a really good cycle. And that's what you see, happening with some of the better teams in college wrestling. They get the better recruits, throughout the country, and boom, now, #1, #2, #3 in the country, and it's consistent, because they're constantly getting, the good guys, right? And they're helping get the good guys that's already on the team even better, and iron sharpens iron.
Doesn't the
So
new NIL deals though kind of cut into that a little bit?
it does. I'll say, yeah, that's Anthony, that's another conversation for another. Yeah, yeah, it does, man. It does. It does. But yeah, we'll speak on that one a little later.
It sounds good, man. Listen, thank you again for being on. This is the A to Z podcast. I'm here with Elijah Oliver. He's the coach for Maryland Terps wrestling team. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Anthony, for having me, man.